Whether you're trying to max out all 82 skills in Starfield quickly and efficiently, or you just have specific skills you want to know how to get maxed out in the most painless way possible, I've got you covered. Obviously, gaining new skills is going to require leveling up to acquire skill points, so I'll link my videos on how to get 5k XP every few seconds at the end and in the pinned comments. So let's get into it. So to level wellness, you've got to use up available oxygen a certain amount of times, depending on which tier you're in. This is extremely simple. Just go to a bed whilst very over encumbered, move slightly so that you use every bit of your oxygen. Now just sleep for 1 hour. Then keep repeating until you've maxed out the skill. For fitness, you just need to heal a certain amount of damage, so just go to a bed whilst very over encumbered, move slightly so that you use every bit of your oxygen, which will also drain your health to 1 HP. It's worth noting that the game won't let you die from moving whilst over encumbered, so now just sleep for an hour, which will replenish everything. Just keep repeating this until you've maxed out the level. Weightlifting requires you to sprint a certain distance whilst overweight. So the best way to do this is to pack your inventory out with items you don't care about until you reach the weight requirements. Now drop onto a random planet and just run. You could tape down your button here and go AFK for a bit if needed. Once you've maxed out the skill, just drop all the stuff and fast travel back to your ship. This skill requires you to take physical damage, making this pretty easy to take advantage of. Just slap the game on very easy difficulty, drop on a planet with fauna. My favourites are Schrodinger 3 and Pyrus 2. Then just punch a creature in the face and stand there and take hits like a champ whilst you level up. To level boxing, you just have to kill enemies with unarmed attacks. The fastest way to max this out would be to go to Schrodinger 3 in the Schrodinger system, put your game on very easy, and begin running around punching all of the creatures in the face until they die. To level the gymnastics skill, you'll have to start by taking 100 full damage, so just go to a planet with high gravity, make an outpost with a bed and a stack of containers. Go to the top of the containers and throw yourself off. Now just sleep for an hour. You'll then have to kill 25 enemies in 0G in total to fully max out gymnastics. This isn't too difficult, just head to a moon and look for a structure. Now just jump around and start shooting enemies. You can put an outpost as close as you can to the enemy structure so that you have a place to wait to respawn those enemies back in. To level up the skill, you just have to take environmental damage. The quickest way to do this is to go to a moon, make an outpost and make a bed, remove your helmet until you almost die, re-equip your helmet and now rest in your bed for an hour to get your health back. You've just got to take energy weapon damage here. So head to Jemison's moon Kurtz, then find a structure where there's lots of enemies. I found this moon to have lots of enemies with energy weapons, so put your game on very easy and now go and aggravate those enemies. Let them shoot you, run away and heal, and keep doing this until you've fully maxed it. To max this skill, you just have to recover from 45 injuries total. The fastest way to do this is to go to a planet with high gravity, make an outpost with a bed and a stack of containers, go to the top of the containers and throw yourself off to break your ankles. Now just sleep for 1 hour, boom, time to break them again. To level this up, you just need to deal damage with unarmed attacks. The best way to max out martial arts is to head over to New Atlantis on Jemison, head to the doctor's office and just start punching that doctor. He can't escape the room for some reason and will just keep spawning back in, so just keep punching him in the back of the head. If you don't want a bounty, you can always do this while crouching. To max this skill out, you just need to recover from 50 infections. The fastest way to get this done is to stock up on 50 antibiotics. You can get these from the doctor in New Atlantis. Now just go land on a moon or planet and find a smokestack, stand on it until you start to take toxic damage, and eventually it will infect you. So just heal up with the antibiotics and go again 49 more times. To level this, you've got to drop your health below a certain threshold and then heal it back up. So just get yourself over encumbered, stand next to a bed, walk a few times until your health hits 1 HP, then just sleep in the bed for 1 hour. Boom, easy. For the nutrition skill, you've literally just got to eat food. To max it out, you need to consume 115 items. The quickest way would be to head over to Chunks in New Atlantis and then just stand there eating as much as possible. Keep doing this until you've leveled the skill. To max stealth out, you just need to perform 70 sneak attacks. The best way to do this is to quickly head over to New Atlantis on Jemison, head to the doctor's office, and just start punching him whilst crouched. He'll try to run out of the room, but he'll keep spawning back in, and he'll also forget that he was under attack. Just keep slowly repeating this process, quick saving regularly, and you'll max it out in no time. To max concealment, you just need to perform 115 sneak attacks. The best way to do this is to quickly head over to New Atlantis on Jemison, head to the doctor's office, and just start punching him whilst crouched. He'll try to run out of the room, but he'll keep spawning back in the room and forgetting that he was under attack. Just keep slowly repeating this process and quick saving regularly, and you'll max it out in no time. After unlocking the first skill in Neurostrikes, you'll unlock the ability to stun enemies with unarmed attacks. Now you've just got to keep stunning enemies to level the skill up. So head to Jemison's moon, Kurtz, then find a structure where there's lots of enemies. Put your game on very hard and start running around punching everyone. To level commerce, you have to sell unique items. In fact, you'll be selling 250 in total to fully max the level. The good news is that all of the random crap in your inventory in the miscellaneous section can also be sold. Each individual item will count as a unique item. All you need to do to level up gastronomy is craft consumables. So just spam craft either distilled water or alien jerky. These items only require 2 ingredients, which can be acquired from greenhouses and animal husbandries. To max out persuasion, all you've got to do is succeed in 18 speech challenges. The fastest way to do this is to go to the bar in any starport and chat with potential crew. If you have persuasion unlocked, you can attempt to talk them down from their asking price, which can then be cheesed by quick saves. There are loads of these guys, and even better, you don't have to play through the story or faction missions waiting for a persuasion check to present itself. All you've got to do to level up scavenging is loot containers. This can obviously mean stealing from containers too, so your best bet is to head to the well in New Atlantis and start a stealing spree. You could also do this in Neon City, as there are even more there. To level theft, you need to successfully pickpocket NPCs. One of the quickest and easiest ways is to use an EM weapon to stun enemies, and then just pickpocket them whilst they're passed out on the ground. To level deception, you've just got to convince ships to surrender. The quickest way to do this is to travel to the Deimos Star Yard, located here. Lots of low-level ships spawn here that are easy to pirate. Just fast travel to and from another system, which will reset the ships. Doing this, you could easily get 40 ships an hour. To level up diplomacy, all you've got to do is successfully use diplomacy. Pretty simple. To do this, you just open your scanner, face a human NPC, and press the prompt on screen. So head over to New Atlantis and start using diplomacy on the guards. Boom, easy levels. To level up intimidation, all you've got to do is successfully use intimidation. Easy stuff. To do this, you just open your scanner, face a human NPC, and press the prompt on screen. So head over to any planet, look for structures, and you'll eventually run into enemies at one. Now start using intimidation on the enemies. Boom, easy levels. Isolation is just about getting kills without a follower present. It's not affected by ship or outpost crews, so head to any planet with fauna on it. My favourite planet for this is Schrödinger 3, which is at the Schrödinger system, and just start popping creatures. Keep doing this until you max it out. To level up negotiation, you just need to successfully bribe NPCs during dialogue. The best place to go for this is Neon, where there are plenty of little activities with the options to bribe. Just be sure to always quick save first in case you fail the bribery. Here's a list of all the quests and side quests that contain the ability to bribe NPCs. You can level up instigation by successfully instigating NPCs to attack their allies. You do this by opening your scanner, looking at a target, and pressing the prompt on screen. The only problem with this is you'll gain a bounty and the NPC will essentially become hostile to everyone. However, if you have access to the key, which is the hideout for the Crimson Fleet, you can actually instigate these guys to fight each other and you will never get a bounty for it. Easy stuff. To level up leadership, you just need to sprint a certain distance with an active follower. So the most efficient way is to land on a planet, pop an outpost and a bed down. Now just sprint around your ship and outpost until your oxygen runs out, then just sleep 1 hour in the bed and repeat. After buying the first level of outpost management, the next thing you'll have to do is build cargo links on 6 different planets. So after building an outpost and a cargo link on a planet, you can remove the whole outpost to refund those materials, and then just reuse those materials on another cargo link on another planet. Repeat this 6 times. The next step is to construct 8 robots at outposts. So to start constructing robots, the Robot 1 research project has to be completed first. This research project does not require anything but the required resources and materials and an available research lab. The first research into robots will enable you to build the first tier of robots at your outpost. As this challenge doesn't require you to build different robots on different outposts, you can just rebuild the same robot by removing it to refund the materials and rebuilding it again. And then for the final skill point, use the same strategy as rebuilding the robot, so just build a crew station, remove it to refund the materials, and rebuild it again at the same outpost. Sorted. To max out manipulation, you have to successfully manipulate a certain number of people for each rank. An effective and fast way to do this is to manipulate every person in a major city. There aren't any negative consequences to manipulating, regardless of whether you fail, so the best way really is to manipulate all of the NPCs at a major city. To level ship command, you have to destroy or board a number of ships with a certain number of crew members on board. The first skill says 2 or more, the next says 4 or more, and the final skill says 6 or more. You'll save a lot of time by having the space on your ship for 6 crew members ready for when you unlock each tier. You can recruit new crew members at bars in all major cities. Some bars to visit are the Hitching Post, the Rock, Aggie's, and the 6th Circle. You will have to hire them at a cost, which you can reduce through a persuasion check. Once you've assembled the crew, head out to the Serpentist system and jump between the moons. The moons around this system is always swarming with enemy ships. Just destroy them with 2, 4, then 6 members on board, and you'll eventually max this out. To level this skill up, you just need to command alien creatures successfully. To use the abilities of xenosociology, you need to bring up the scanner and point it at an alien creature to control it. You can use the commands on different fauna of the same species to count towards the challenge. However, failing prevents you from using it again on that specific creature, meaning you'll need to move on to another creature if you fail. Just drop onto Pyrus 2 in the Pyrus system, or Schrodinger 3 in the Schrodinger system, and you will find plenty of creatures. So just run around until you max this out. You can level this skill up by getting kills with guns. So head to Pyrus 2 in the Pyrus system and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the skill. Or you can build an animal husbandry on Pyrus 2 and just shoot the tame creatures. There are a few requirements for this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the pinned comments. You level this skill up pretty easily with melee kills. So go to the Schrodinger system and head to Schrodinger 3. This planet has endless fauna wherever you go, so grab a melee weapon and just run around slapping monsters. Easy stuff. You can level this skill up by getting kills with laser weapons. So head to Pyrus 2 in the Pyrus system and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the weapon. Or you can build an animal husbandry on Pyrus 2 and shoot the tame creatures. There's a few requirements for this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the comments. You can level the skill up by getting kills with the pistol, so head to Pyrus 2 in the Pyrus system and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the weapon. Or you can build an animal husbandry on Pyrus 2 and shoot the tame creatures too. There are a few requirements for doing this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the comments. You can level the skill up by getting kills with a shotgun. So head to Pyrus 2 in the Pyrus system and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the weapon. Or you can build an animal husbandry on Pyrus 2 and shoot the tame creatures. There's a few requirements for this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the comments. Demolitions is just about killing enemies with explosives. So grab yourself a ton of grenades from the 2 gun stores in Aquila City. Now go to the Schrodinger system and head to Schrodinger 3. This planet has loads of fauna wherever you go, so just run around blowing up aliens. Easy stuff. You can level a skill up by getting kills with heavy weapons. So head to Pyrus 2 in the Pyrus system and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the weapon. Or you can build an animal husbandry on Pyrus 2 and shoot the tame creatures. There are a few requirements for this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the comments. To level this skill up, you just have to successfully incapacitate enemies. So go to the Schrodinger system and head for Schrodinger 3, which has plenty of fauna. Now just shoot a creature with an EM weapon, and all you have to do now is carry on shooting it over and over. Just keep doing this until you max the skill out. If you don't have an EM weapon, you can modify your weapon's ammo type at the workbench. You can level the skill up by getting kills with energy weapons. So head to the Pyrus system and head to Pyrus 2 and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the weapon. Or you can build an animal husbandry on Pyrus 2 and shoot the tame creatures. There are a few requirements for this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the pinned comment. You can level this skill up by getting kills with a rifle. So head to the Pyrus system, head to Pyrus 2 and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the weapon. Or you can build an animal husbandry and just shoot the tame creatures. There are a few requirements for this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the comments. For this skill, you've just got to land critical hits. So head to the Pyrus system, head to Pyrus 2, and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the skill. Or you can build animal husbandries on Pyrus 2 and shoot the tame creatures. There are a few requirements for this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the comments. To level this skill up, you've just got to reload a completely empty magazine. Just grab yourself a gun with a small magazine like a pistol, grab yourself a ton of ammo. I do have a glitch to spawn in endless ammo that I'll link in the comments. Now all you've got to do is stand there firing shots off and reloading the empty mag until you are max level. You can level the skill up by getting kills with the weapon. So head to the Pyrus system, head to Pyrus 2, and shoot down the weird floating blimp monsters until you max out the gun. Or you can build animal husbandries, and then just shoot the tame creatures. There are a few requirements for this. I'll link the video on the way I did it in the comments. Another thing you can do is crouch on a rooftop at a major city and start landing headshots on NPCs. Targeting levels up every time you kill an enemy without aiming down the sights of your gun. So head to the Schrodinger system and go to Schrodinger 3. This planet has endless fauna wherever you go. So grab a gun and just run around shooting monsters without aiming. Easy stuff. Armor penetration levels up when you kill an enemy with a weapon that isn't automatic. So grab your favorite non-automatic weapon and head to the Schrodinger system and go to Schrodinger 3. Now just run around shooting the endless amounts of creatures roaming the planet. The crippling skill levels when you put enemies into the bleed out state. You'll unlock the ability to do this when you unlock the first level of crippling. After this, you'll need to put 170 humanoid enemies into the bleed out state. Your best bet here would be to find a structure with enemies on any planet, put an outpost as close by as you can, start sending all those enemies into a bleed out state, then go rest at your outpost and come back and do it all again. For sharpshooting, you've just got to land critical hits with a gun. So head to the Schrodinger system and go to Schrodinger 3. The planet has endless fauna wherever you go, so just start popping creatures and landing critical hits. Another thing you could do is crouch on a rooftop at a major city and start landing headshots on NPCs. To level this skill up, you've literally just got to grav jump. So to complete the challenge quickly, repeatedly grav jump between two nearby systems. To level up the skill, you just have to harvest materials. So drop on a planet, get your scanner out, and just start mining resources until you're done. To level up medicine, you've just got to use healing items. You'll be using 170 of them in total. The quickest way to get this done is to pop all of the healing items in your hotbar for easy access, then max out your carry weight until you're severely over encumbered. The more overweight you are, the faster this will work. Now just take a step forward and it will instantly drain all of your oxygen and health. It's worth noting here that the game won't let you die from walking whilst over encumbered. Now just heal your health up, then take another step forward, heal it up, and keep repeating this process until you've fully leveled medicine. To level the skill up, you just need to craft unique items. The quickest way to get this done would be to grab everything you can from Jemison Mercantile in New Atlantis, and from Outland and the UC Distribution in the Commercial District. Then head to the basement in the lodge and craft everything you possibly can. You can then store loads of your additional materials in the storage box in your bedroom because it has unlimited storage. To fully max the skill out, you just need to use the hand scanner to scan different resources, fauna and flora that you haven't scanned yet. You'll only need to scan each target once, so heading to the planets in the Pyrus or Schrodinger system will be best for this, as those planets are packed with life. To level botany, you just need to harvest organic resources from plants. You'll be harvesting 170 of them in total. Just head to systems like the Pyrus or Schrodinger system, which are both packed with planets with lots of flora. Now simply run around and collect those plants. The more you level this skill, the easier it will get because you'll get more exotic versions of the resources. To max out scanning, you just have to scan a total of 50 planets or moons. So just jumping between systems is the quickest way to get this done, unless you already have astrophysics maxed out. If so, you can actually scan planets and moons from up to 30 light years away, meaning from completely different systems. To level this up, you'll need to craft a total of 50 mods for spacesuits, helmets, or packs. The fastest way to do this is to put ballistic shielding on a helmet and then take it off and repeat this over and over again. To do this, you'll need to head to Jemison Mercantile in New Atlantis, or the UC Distribution and Outland in the Commercial District, so that you can pick up 25 cosmetic, 25 nickel, 25 sealant, and 25 aluminum. This should be enough to make 50 mods to your helmet. And then to find a workbench, just head to the basement in the lodge. To level this skill up, you'll need to craft a total of 50 mods for weapons. The fastest and cheapest way to do this is to put a muzzle brake on an Eon, and then take it off and repeat this over and over again. To do this, you'll need to head to Jemison Mercantile in New Atlantis, or the UC Distribution Center and Outland in the Commercial District. Doing this, you'll be able to pick up 25 iron, 50 nickel, and 25 aluminum. This should be enough to make 50 mods to your weapon, and then if you need a workbench, you can head to the basement in the lodge. So to level up zoology, you need to get resources from alien creatures. You know, like killing them and stealing their loot. The good news is there's a faster way to get this done. Just build an outpost and 1, 2, or 12 animal husbandries. Side note, you have to scan 100% of a creature on the planet to get access to the husbandry. Once you have your husbandries out, all of the creatures will begin walking around. Just kill them. Then transfer something to their inventory from your resource section and just take it back. For some weird reason, this counts as you getting resources from aliens. To max out astrophysics, you have to scan a total of 85 unique planets or moons, which actually means any planets or moons that you haven't scanned yet. So just jumping between systems is the quickest way to get this done. You must be orbiting a planet or moon to scan it. Once you get higher ranks of astrophysics, however, you'll be able to scan distant planets and moons. The last skill gets easier as you can start scanning planets and moons from up to 16 light years away. You can level the skill up by crafting chems. Crafting any chem from the pharmaceutical lab will count towards completing the skill requirements, meaning you can just craft the same chem over and over. Most of the lower tier chems are easy to craft as they require only 2 simple ingredients that can be produced from a greenhouse or animal husbandry. The easier chems to craft are antibiotics, bandages, heal paste, a mobilizer, or the injector. What you craft will obviously depend on what farmable organic materials are available at your outpost. To level this skill up, you just have to build modules at your outpost. There seems to be a bug a lot of people are running into for tier 2, where it isn't registering anything you build. The way to get around this is to only build from the structures tab. Once you've built 5 different things from this tab, you are good to go. From here, the best strategy is to build one of the available poster outpost decorations, which cost 1 structural and 1 ornamental. After adding the poster to the wall, remove the poster to claim back the materials. Then after getting back the materials, you can build a variant of the poster to progress the challenge while not spending any more materials. You can do this to similar modules such as the warning sign, rug, or chair modules, which all have several variants. To level this skill up, you just need to destroy ships. You can either head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons. You'll find plenty of ships to fight here, or an even faster method is to farm the UC Vanguard piloting exam. This exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Supra et Ultra. The exam has you destroying ships in a simulation. Destroying the ships will count towards the skill. It's worth noting here, you can stand up and reset the simulation at any point. So to level up planetary habitation, you need to build habitable outposts on different planets. The game considers an airlock and outpost beacon as a habitable outpost, so you can just stick this down and then delete the outpost. This will put the materials back in your inventory, ready to do it again. You'll only need 3 materials, and they can all be bought from Jemison Mercantile at New Atlantis. You need aluminum, sealant, and lead. Just 1 of each. Now do this 18 times and you'll have fully maxed out planetary habitation. To level up special projects, you need to craft 10 common, rare, and then exotic manufactured components. Manufactured components are materials that are crafted in the industrial workbench. To max the skill out quickly, just craft 10 manufactured components of the specific tier, but the trick here is you can literally just craft the same component repeatedly and you'll still level the skill. To level the skill up, you just need to damage ships with ballistic weapons. You can either head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons. You'll find plenty of ships to fight here. Or an even faster method is to farm the UC Vanguard piloting exam. This exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Super et Ultra. The exam has you destroying ships in a simulation. Hitting ships with the weapons labelled BAL will count towards the skill. It's worth noting here that you can stand up and reset the simulation at any time. To level up this skill, you just need to use your boost pack whilst in combat. So head to any planet with fauna. My favourite is Schrödinger 3 in the Schrödinger system. Put the game on very easy and just fly around boosting over the hostile creatures. This will level up boost pack training incredibly fast. To level up piloting, you just need to destroy ships. You can either head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons. You'll find plenty of ships to fight there. Or an even faster method is to farm the UC Vanguard piloting exam. This exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Supra et Ultra. The exam has you destroying ships in a simulation. Destroying the ships will count towards the skill. It's worth noting here that you can stand up and reset the simulation at any time. So just drop into Aquila City in the Cheyenne system, run over to the bank, which is just on your right. This guy sucks, so I'd just pop him if I was you. Now, you've got 4 ATMs out front. They can all be lockpicked, so get those first. Now, in the room behind the desk, there's a safe on the table, so pick that. And that is the first level of security done. Okay, now you've upgraded your security level, head downstairs. There are 9 to 10 lockers to crack down there. Now just head to Venus and wait 6 hours, come back, and the safe in the back office will be good to pick again. You'll need to reset it 4 more times, and then you've done it. You can now pick Master Locks. Unlocking the first level of this will give you the option to slow down time and target specific parts of an enemy ship. To level the skill up to the max, you'll need to destroy a total of 50 ships whilst in targeting mode. To do this, you can either head to the Serpentis system, jump between the moons, you'll find plenty of ships to fight here. Or, an even faster method is to farm the UC Vanguard piloting exam. This exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Supra et Ultra. The exam has you destroying ships in a simulation. Destroying ships with targeting controls will count towards the skill. It's worth noting here that you can stand up and reset the simulation at any time. To level the skill up, you just need to do damage to ships with energy weapons. You can either head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons, you'll find plenty of ships to fight there. Or an even faster method is to farm the UC Vanguard piloting exam. This exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Supra et Ultra. The exam has you destroying ships in a simulation. Hitting ships with the weapons labelled LAS will count towards the skill. It's worth noting here that you can stand up and reset the simulation at any time. To max out the skill, you just have to boost in your ship during combat a total of 80 times. The fastest way to do this is to grab yourself a small one-man ship so you're harder to hit, or you can use the ship invincibility exploit that I'll share in the description and the comments, and then head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons. This system is swarming with enemies. Now just keep using your boost and flying around the enemies until you max out the skill. To level the skill up, you've just got to grav jump with 75% or more of your max cargo on your ship. To max this level out, you'll be grav jumping 85 times. The quickest way to do this is to buy a bunch of resources and ship parts from Jemison Mercantile. Store them in your cargo hold and then go to the ship vendor to edit your ship and simply delete off some of your cargo holds. From here, just grav jump back and forth between 2 close systems. Easy stuff. To level the skill up, you just need to take damage in your ship. You can either head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons, you'll find plenty of ships here to fight. Just make sure you have plenty of ship parts in your cargo hold so you can continuously repair. Or, an even faster method is to farm the UC Vanguard piloting exam. This exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Supra et Ultra. The exam has you destroying ships in a simulation. Taking damage in the simulation will count towards the skill. It's worth noting here you can stand up and reset the simulation at any time. To level the skill up, you just need to damage ship with missile weapons. You can either head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons, you'll find plenty of ships to fight here. Or an even faster method is to farm the UC Vanguard piloting exam. This exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Supra et Ultra. The exam has you destroying ships in a simulation. Hitting ships with the correct weapons will count towards the skill. It's worth noting here that you can stand up and reset the simulation at any time. To level the skill up, you just need to damage ships with particle beam weapons. You can either head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons, you'll find plenty of ships to fight here. Or, an even faster method is to farm the UC Vanguard piloting exam. This exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Supra et Ultra. The exam has you destroying ships in a simulation. Hitting ships with the correct weapons will count towards the skill. It's worth noting here that you can stand up and reset the simulation at any time. To fully max out robotics, you'll need to destroy 80 robots in total. To quickly level up the robotics skill, you'll want to find outposts on random planets and moons with robot workers. You can do this by opening up your scanner when you land and looking around for outposts or structures. You can press A on the icons that say unknown to reveal what they are. When you manage to find one that is entirely run by robots, create an outpost as close as you can so that you can put a chair or bed down to skip time and respawn the robots every time you destroy them all. Keep doing this until you max out the level. To max out the skill completely, you'll need to install 50 unique ship modules in total. The fastest way to do this can be costly, but I do have plenty of working credit exploits that I can link in the description and the comments. So to do this, you'll just need to pick a cheap ship with the lowest class. Now just scroll through the parts one by one, add them to your ship, buy them, and then move down the list to the next part. As long as it isn't a part you've purchased before, it will add to the progress of the skill. Keep doing this until you've maxed out your starship design. To level up starship engineering, You'll need to repair your ship with repair kits a total of 30 times. The fastest method to get this done is to repeat the UC Vanguard piloting exam. The exam is part of the UC Vanguard faction quest Supra et Ultra, and it involves you destroying various digital ships within a simulation. Each time you do the simulation, you'll get 3 repairs for free that count towards the skill. You can leave the cockpit when you run out of repairs by holding the E key on PC or B on Xbox. Leave the simulation and then go back to reset it. You'll need to do this process 10 times total to fully max out Starship Engineering. To level the skill up, you just need to deal damage to other ships with automated turret weapons. The quickest way to max this after equipping an auto turret is to head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons, because this area is swarming with enemies. You could also head to the key, which is the hideout for the Crimson Fleet, and just start popping pirates. To level the skill, you've just got to do damage to enemies with your boost pack. You do this by boosting above an enemy. So the best way to max this out would be to head to Schrodinger 3 in the Schrodinger system and just start boosting above all the creatures. You'll max this skill out in no time. To level the skill up, you just need to deal damage to other ships with EM weapons. The quickest way to max this after equipping an EM weapon is to head to the Serpentis system and jump between the moons, because this area is swarming with enemies. You could also head to the key, which is the hideout for the Crimson Fleet, and just start shooting everyone. And that is literally every single skill efficiently leveled in Starfield. So if this video helped, please do consider dropping a sub to help me out too. And if you're looking for a way to get 5k XP every few seconds, then you'll want to check out the video on screen now. Thanks for watching.